morning, everybody. This is Frances Castanedice, President of the Houston Easton Chamber of Commerce, and it's an honor to welcome you to our Feel Good Friday. Today, we're honored to have Justin Lacey, who is Director of Communications and Community Engagement at the Houston Botanic Garden. Welcome, Justin. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm really good.
Good, 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 good. Now, that background is beautiful. Can you tell us a little bit of what that is back there? Are you
Yes, of
live
course.
in the garden?
No, although the sky is a little bit overcast in this one too, isn't it? No, this is the Oasis. It's one of our seating areas in our global collection garden. The area that you see there is part of our Mediterranean garden. So the plant palette here is North African. And yeah, this is one of the really popular spots for people to just kind of sit and take in the sights and sounds, kind of slow down.
Wow. So tell us, the Houston Botanic Garden opened when, and what is it all about? What can people look forward to seeing?
Okay, so we opened Friday, September 18th. So we're still relatively new. Things are really going well so far. We're really pleased with the interest that we've gotten. So the Houston Botanic Garden, we like to see it as a living museum for plants. And so just kind of what you see here behind you is an example. This area is regionally themed, plants from North Africa, but throughout this global collection garden, which is a 3-acre space where this is, we have tropical, subtropical, and arid plants from around the world that do well in this hardiness zone. So you can literally in just 3 acres go from like the Mexican mountains down to the desert Southwest through an African savanna. There is a bamboo tunnel to represent Asian influence. Succulents, cacti, banana trees. I mean, it's all there. I like to tell people, in this age when no one's traveling globally anymore, you can travel the world in 3 acres. And that's
Oh,
just one piece of a 132-acre property.
wow. So tell us, for those who don't know, what was the place that you're at now? What was it before this?
Where was I working before this?
No, the Botanic
Oh,
Garden.
the garden. Sorry. It was a municipal golf course. This was the Glenbrook Golf Course, which was underutilized. And so we are very thankful to have this piece of property. The Botanic Garden was a dream for decades, and actually finding the right piece of land was really one of the biggest sticking points to making that dream a reality. And so when this piece of property became available and the nonprofit hooked up with the city, that's when things really took off in about 2015.
Oh, that's wonderful. And watching the construction all these years until now has been, wonderful. And I know you opened up during COVID, but what are the prices to go in there? And then what are people doing to keep social distance? Because it is all outdoors.
It is almost entirely outdoors. We have one small welcome pavilion with a gift shop, and that's it. Everything else is outdoors. And so right now, our regular prices are $15 for adults, $10 for children ages 3 and up, and then students with a valid ID. We have discount days, so that price is in effect Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We have what we call discount days, Monday through Thursday, and that drops that price to $12.50 for adults, $8 for children and students. And then we also on the discount days can offer a group rate. If you have a group that you are comfortable coming with of 15 or more and you book all at once, that drops it to $7.50 per person. And then we also do have memberships, and those are a really great value. Certainly at a place like this where things are changing almost every day, we really encourage people to look into memberships, and those start at $50 for an individual. We have a really great deal. It's called Family and Friends. It's as many as 4 adults and 6 children on a membership, and it's $125. And that's general admission for the year, a discount in the gift shop, and different things like that. And now, what we're doing for COVID, obviously, you can see I have on a mask. I'm not sitting outside. I'm sitting in my office, which is an open concept space. And so we all wear masks in the office here, but we ask everyone on property to wear masks. So even though it is outdoors, it's very important for the comfort of everyone, for the safety of everyone. There is plenty of space, but there's also a lot of things that you'll want to see up close at the same time as someone else. So we need everyone to wear a mask and to wear it at all times when they're here. We are doing timed ticketing, so we encourage ticketing in advance. It's not required, but we do encourage it. We have a limited number of entries each hour. And so when you buy a time ticket that says 9 o'clock, for instance, we need you to use that ticket between 9 and 10. If you buy 10, between 10 and 11. And that way we can kind of keep up with the flow of people coming in.
Oh, that's great. I have some friends that have bought memberships and they truly love it. So that could be something that we can give as a Christmas gift, don't you think?
Oh, yes, no, we are currently, if you come to the site, you'll see signs encouraging to encouraging you to give the gift of membership, as we like to say. So yes, we think that would be a great way to share about the garden with your family and friends.
Good. And so for those people that are hard to find something, this is the best thing to do. I've got a couple of questions here. So, what is your favorite part of the park?
Okay. I am really partial to the arid valley, the southwest section. We have a large number of boulders that came from a quarry. They're Arizona onyx boulders that came from a quarry near the Grand Canyon. And then there's a variety of succulents, different types of agave and some prickly pear and things like that that are in there. And it just, and the way you come to it from the entry gate is you go through all the subtropical and tropical first to get there. And so when you get there, it's this very dramatic change. It's just it takes my breath away, I think, over and over. And truly, I'm the social media guy for the garden, so I get to see the garden through everyone's eyes, and it is Instagram famous already for sure.
Oh, nice. So, you said that you do the social media. So, how did you get started working with the Botanic Garden?
Okay, I've been working in nonprofit communication here locally for almost 20 years now. And so I was previously in education, nonprofit private education. And so I was in a position where I needed to find a new job. I was being laid off, unfortunately. And so I had not heard of the Botanic Garden until I found the position. But from the time I found it on, I knew this was it. Like I had to do whatever it took to get it. And I'm not always lucky in the job department, but I got lucky this time and I'm having a blast.
Oh, congratulations. You sound like very passionate. So, they need someone like that in this position. So, another good question is, are you guys doing anything special for the holidays?
So before I answer that, I will quickly wrap up for people that maybe missed it. We did what we called an opening season, and we celebrated various regions of the world from which we have plants. So we opened the week, our first weekend was celebrating Latin America. We did celebrating Asia, Africa, and the Mediterranean in successive weekends after that. That was kind of a heavy lift for us here at the beginning, and so we are taking a little bit of a breather. We are looking to hopefully do one day of kind of holiday themed programming on Saturday, December 12th. I don't yet have all of those details, but certainly if people are interested in that, I would encourage them to mark their calendars for that. The other thing I will certainly say is we are open 7 days a week, 9 to 5. Only 3 days we're closed: Thanksgiving, Christmas Day, and New Year's Day. I know from personal experience that, the house can get a little tight at the holiday time, even this year when we maybe not as many people are traveling, but what a great way to get out and walk off those, big meal calories and check out something new. So we really hope people will consider us when they think about things to do around the holidays this year, just without even special programming. There's so much to see. We have with such a wide plant palette, there's always something in bloom just about. So literally just within the last couple of days, we have some amaryllis bulbs and that have started blooming and they're beautiful. We have several camellias that have started to bloom. So, the other day someone said, well, it's fall. What is there to see? And I'm just like, there's still so much to see.
Mhm. Oh, and what is this we're looking at right now?
So this is one of our curiosity cabinets. This is in the upland forest. And so the curiosity cabinet is kind of based on the idea, I like to call it like nature's Ripley's Believe It or Not. Um, Unfortunately, right now it is just a playhouse, but the idea is that ultimately we would have kind of some unusual natural objects in there, like giant pine cones or interesting palm fluorescence, and it would be a chance for kids of all ages to go in and actually touch some things, like a very tactile experience. Um, right now, like I said, it is just an empty thing, but what you're seeing, if you just look here on the left side, that's a little half door, like a
Mhm.
literally like a toddler size crawl through door. There's an adult size door back on the other side. We have two of these. This one that's here in the upland forest, and then there's one basically across the garden from this that is in where our bamboo is. And
Oh,
so hopefully post COVID, when things become better, we'll be able to put some interesting stuff in there. But they are already a very popular photo spot, and kids just have a blast in them.
oh, is this a different spot?
Yes, so we're still in the global collection garden, but now we're looking, so that oasis that's behind me is kind of behind this, and you're looking through that Mediterranean garden, and you can see how those banana trees, that's the tropical area. It's literally the center of the global collection garden. We call it the tropical heart. Some of those banana trees are actually already fruiting, which is really kind of exciting for us. And so, yeah, but I love this picture because it gives you that sense, we are new, but the tree that you see here on the left is a mature tree from the former life of the site that we were able to save. But we already have a lot, just there's a lot of growth. I think things are going to be a little bit more mature than some people might think. This is the African savanna.
Oh,
And so you see those African grasses there. One of the neat things about this is on the edge of the global collection garden, and so it gives you that sense of the African savanna, but you can't help but notice there, kind of to the right and in the background, the natural beauty of the site shines through these really mature trees. So you always kind of have that Texas bayou feel in the background, no matter what section of the garden you're standing in.
Well, that looks like it's a picture perfect for a wedding. Do you allow professional photography
So we
for?
do. We have a policy, and it is detailed on our website. We right now are asking that if photographers will set something up during our normal business hours, Monday through Friday, that they are welcome to come with advanced registration and a $100 fee. Things on the weekends, we have rental policies, and so we typically handle those through the rental policy instead, just because weekends are, as you would imagine, our busiest time. And we would love for people to come and use the garden as a backdrop, but we do also need to be respectful of the visitor experience for everyone. And so
True.
we understand that professional photography can sometimes get in the way. So we're happy to work with photographers who are happy to work with us.
Great. So how long does it take to go through the park, and how many do you have Wi-Fi?
So we do not have Wi-Fi throughout the whole space. There is Wi-Fi adjacent to most of the buildings, so like the Welcome Pavilion. We have our administrative building that's in the South Gardens section, but right now we can't guarantee Wi-Fi throughout. Um, so again, it's 132 acres total. Not all of that space is currently developed. We've developed basically three main new feature gardens: the Global Collection Garden, which is 3 acres. We have a culinary garden, which is just about an acre. And then that last photo you saw is in our Susan Garver Family Discovery Garden, which is about 2.5 acres. And so we estimate people should allow at least an hour and a half, possibly 2 hours. The time ticketing, the way it works though, if you come in at 9 o'clock and want to stay till 5 o'clock, you're welcome to. There's
Hmm.
not a specific exit time until we, sweep you out and shut the gate.
That's very, very good to know. Here's another great question. So people have visited gardens that have a smell amazing. And are there any plants that appeal to the smell senses?
So we do have a few. One of the things specifically that we're doing is we have an area where and before I go on, let me say this too, because I always like to say it. About 85% of what we have, we feel pretty confident about. There is about 15% of what we have that is a little bit experimental in nature. That is a part of our mission. We have an area where we're growing 2 types of lavender. Lavender is not necessarily known for doing especially well in this climate. The thought is by trying 2 types, perhaps one of them will do well enough. And so right now we've got the 2 types there. When one kind of shows itself to be the stronger of the two, we'll pull the other, replace with all of that same type, and we have an area we call the lavender slope. So that area should have a really nice scent as that comes in. Um, I'm not an expert on that kind of thing, but I do know even within like our culinary garden, we have a lot of herbs, different types of herbs that are growing there. And so I'm sure like as those continue to mature, that smell will come off some of those, like especially a lot of the Mediterranean type herbs, rosemary, oregano, different things like that, dill. So I think if you're willing to get down there and really smell, and then lots of beautiful flowers. Pollinators love the garden already. If we could sell them memberships, we'd sure be set. But it's just there's rarely a time you're out there there's not butterflies and bees and dragonflies and things flying around you as well. Nature at work.
Wow. So during COVID, I, like so many other people, bought a lot of plants and are trying to have a green thumb. And I failed on some plants. And I also bought some lavender, and some of them made it. Two are out of the eight that I have are still alive. So I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm practicing. So maybe speaking of that, do you guys offer any classes to teach people like me different skills of gardening?
So we will. That's definitely an area where COVID has had an impact. We do have a director of education and programs, and she's great and has a lot of great ideas. We started piloting some things early last spring before we were officially open. Got 2 or 3 things in, and then had to shut all of that down. She is going to dip her toe back into the water on December 5th with a very small outdoor wreath decorating class.
Ooh.
It's going to be limited to 10 people, but materials will be included. So that's just one example. But yes, ideally long term, we'll have like artistic classes, horticulture classes. We've already had a couple, we had a live meditation here once during our opening, which was really popular. We've done a virtual meditation as well using photos and sounds from the garden. Um, wellness walks. I mean, culinary demonstrations and classes when that stuff is safe in our culinary garden. I mean, the sky is somewhat the limit, but right now it's slow. We're kind of in a thinking and exploring. I would say hopefully, fingers crossed, things continue to improve. Starting next spring, I think is when we really hope to be in a position to kind of launch more official programming.
Good, because people are building all these gardens, and I myself want to know what will grow in this wonderful humidity that we have here and the Houston heat.
Yeah, and we have an excellent horticulture staff. They love plants and they love talking about plants. And so, yeah, when the time is right, you don't want me to answer the questions, but I can get them to answer the questions and it should be really helpful.
Now, wait, I know you're open year round, but is there a better time or your favorite time to go? And are there any plant seasonal fruits and flowers that you have?
There are, and again, I'm not the expert on this, but on our website, which is HBG for Houston Botanic Garden.org, there's a page under the visit section called What's in Bloom, and it's split
Mm,
up both seasonally and by garden, and it's just a sample that doesn't cover all of the plants, but it will give you an idea. And I mean, we really are set up where there will be something in bloom. Um, Basically year round. Now, some areas will look different than others. We also have a few spots where we do seasonal plantings, so we'll change those out over time to make sure. We have a lot of pines, for instance. I mean, there's evergreens here as well. So I think, I encourage people to come year round. And I think each season will have its own appeal. The summers obviously will be a little bit challenging with the heat. We do have I will tell you a football field length of man-made shade. It's a beautiful stone alcove colonnade that runs one full side of the Global Collection Garden with benches underneath, and there are plants planted in the wall. So it's just a really kind of
wow.
dramatic, nice space. But I promise, I don't, the way things work, but you can walk under that on a hot summer day, and I promise the temperature drops like not 10 degrees, but it can make a huge difference.
Mhm.
And certainly in a place like Houston, when that quick rain shower pops up, again, a place where you can run for cover quickly and then hopefully go back out the way those summer showers work, especially 10 minutes later in the sauna. But yeah, no, I think obviously, I'm just now seeing it myself the first time in the fall, since most of the plants were planted in fact, in the global collection garden here behind me, the first plants were planted in March. So, most of these plants have not even been in the ground a full year yet. So it'll be interesting to see how they grow and develop. But I think, I think the holidays is a great time to come,
Mhm.
especially if you do have family that are traveling or family that are getting together. Um, we love family, but sometimes family gets to be a lot. And so we have 132 acres for you to bring your family and then get away from them.
I love it. I love it. So I wore this dress with flowers in
It is
your
very
honor,
nice.
and so I will have to wear it over there. But do you have a gift shop on
We
premise?
we do. It's not giant. It is relatively small, but no, one of our board president actually has taken kind of the lead in merchandising that for us, and she's got a lot of really nice botanically themed things. We don't have a lot of branded stuff like our brand. There's a handful of those, but a lot of it is she has really neat pots and vases and beautiful face masks, even if you want a botanical face mask, and just a wide variety of things. It's not yet online. Our hope is to eventually get our merchandise online, but yes, it's great to just stop in and browse in there. It is like a museum quality type shop.
Nice,
And
nice.
they do sell live house plants too.
Ooh, that's a good thing to do because if they sell it there, it's probably the good stuff and it will last in Houston. So because there's a lot of cooks out there, what are you doing with the culinary herbs that you're growing? Are you giving them to restaurants? Can people pick up things?
So right now, a couple of things that we're looking at, and again, the culinary garden was literally the last planted. So a lot of that stuff was just planted in September. So we're really not yet even where much of it is probably ready. Um, Thoughts are that we would use some of it in our programming, our on-site programming. We are still kind of exploring and looking for some partnerships where we could hopefully give some of it away to benefit the community, different types of produce and things that people might want. My dream from the marketing perspective would be certainly to have some of our local restaurants create dishes inspired, by our culinary garden or something like that. But We don't quite have those in place yet, but a guy can dream. But yeah, I think that would be great. But I mean, it is so fascinating just already to walk around and see. We've got oranges and we've got pears, and I already talked about the bananas, and there's just a lot. Several types of cabbage and stuff are out there growing, green onions growing in the ground, which, these things that you see in the store and they look a certain way, and then to see them coming up out of the ground, it really is fascinating.
Oh, now I really, really want to go. So we're going to have to make an appointment or schedule our time to go and buy a membership. It just makes me want to do that right now. But in closing, Justin, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you wanted to mention about the garden?
One thing I will say, especially for this audience, because I know many of you are literally our neighbors, there are a couple of things that you can do if you're curious, but not quite ready to commit. So we have about 11 acres of pre-ticketed space. So when our front gate is open, which is about just before 9 to just after 5, you're actually welcome to come drive onto the property, come up, take a spin around the parking area. We do have some plants and things that you can see out there as well. There's a picnic grove that we have under some mature trees that is open to the public when the gates are open. And so that can even just give you a sense of the space. And then also we are right now still offering where if you come and buy a ticket and come in and decide you really like what you see, you can take the price of today's ticket and convert that towards your membership. So then you just owe the
Nice.
difference. So I do think it's important to point out to people, we do see people just drive through the parking lot and kind of gawk, which we love. We hope they see something that'll make them want to come back and actually get a ticket and come through the gate. But we do have that picnic grove and a couple of other areas out there that are an amenity for the whole community, not just for those that choose to buy a ticket.
And just for that picnic grove, can you actually bring food and have your own little picnic out there?
In the picnic grove, you can. Yes, we do not allow food through the gate. And so even people that come in, we encourage them bring a picnic, have it before you come in. But yes, no, there are at
Oh,
least a dozen picnic tables out there spaced out. And again, it does have mature tree canopy over it. So typically it's shaded.
wow. Now I'm even more interested. I bet that's a nice little Instagram backdrop.
It is. One of my favorite stories so far, I had a group reach out to me, graduate students from Rice, and they rode their bicycles from the Rice campus to our site, had a birthday party in the picnic grove, and then spent the afternoon touring the garden together. They look like they were having a blast.
Wonderful. Well, goodness gracious, Justin, it's an honor to meet a fellow Houstonian. I am too. And it is great that you're working in the community, our community, and we all look forward to come by. And when we do, we'll just wave hi to you, Justin, from a
Yeah,
distance.
come the administrative buildings in the South Gardens. I sit right by a window, so we have people peek in all the time.
Good, good. Well, thank you so much, everybody that's watching. Please make sure that you tell your family and friends that if they're looking for a gift for the holidays for the person that has everything, a membership at the Houston Botanic Garden is probably one thing that they'll love and enjoy year round.
They definitely haven't had one before, that's for
Hmm.
sure.
I know, I know. So thank you for taking the time. You really made us feel good on this Friday, and we look forward to going out to the garden soon.
Of course, if I can, just one more time, hbg.org. Pretty simple. Hopefully you can remember that.
And on Facebook and on Instagram.
We're on Facebook and Instagram as well. Yes.
Good. All right. Well, we'll see everybody next Friday on our Feel Good Friday program. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.